And another season of River Hogs football has wrapped up, so it is time for the off-season recap. First things first, let's take a look at who we signed in the preseason to one-year deals. We needed a third tight end, so we got Levine Toilolo. I believe that's how you pronounce it. He's a 6'8" tight end out of Stanford. Then we got Brandon Merriweather, who will start at strong safety. John Boyette, the backup free safety. Left tackle, who will start at right tackle, Andrew Whitworth. Right guard, Matt Tobin, he will back up. Keenan Allen, this year's rent-a receiver, who is available in the free agency in the preseason, so he will be the number 2 guy behind Avante Brady. And then the starting middle linebacker to take over for Leroy Reynolds, who will be our backup this year, will be Manti Te'o. Now let's take a look at who we got in the NFL draft. So in the second round, we got ourselves Cordavius Hester, because remember, we did not have a first-round pick this year. And in the second round, there was no quarterbacks available that I wanted to get at that particular time in the draft, because I had a late second-round pick, and the quarterbacks who were projected to go second round ended up going late first round because they were a bit higher in the first round projected. So this guy, Cordavius Hester, was actually projected to go first overall, an outside linebacker at a UCLA. So I figured, hey, why not take a shot on him in the second round? And he's a 72 overall, so not bad, but not the worst either. And then we've got Langford Miller in the third round, a strong safety out of Rutgers, who will eventually be our starting strong safety. Right now, we had to let Jonathan Cyprien walk in the offseason. I didn't just let him walk. I tried to re-sign him in the re-sign phase. He didn't want that contract. I tried to re-sign him in the free agency. Once anybody could give him an offer, he did not want to come back to Portland. So we lost Jonathan Cyprien, and we're going to replace him with Brandon Merriweather for right now. And Langford Miller, our third-round pick strong safety out of Rutgers, he's going to be our backup strong safety. And then in the fourth round, we got a right tackle out of Arkansas. I just wanted to get some young linemen on this team because a lot of the linemen I have are in their 30s. And Angelo Bautista, a right tackle out of Arkansas, fits the young lineman build. He's got some decent pass blocking stats, average run blocking, and average impact blocking. And he's just got bad awareness, so he's only a 68 overall. But he will eventually be able to, I think, be a decent right tackle in a few years. And then in the fifth round, this is where things get interesting. We drafted a quarterback in the 5th round. A lot of people, I know, wanted this team to go quarterback early rounds, but there was just no good quarterbacks available early rounds, and I had this guy scouted. And he had a pretty good stats based on what I was scouting, and I wasn't wrong. He actually has really good stats, especially for a 5th round pick. He just doesn't have a high overall because his awareness is down. So, Lance Cummings, the quarterback out of Northern Illinois, will be our starting quarterback as the 5th round pick. And we'll get on to a bit more about Lance Cummings a bit later on in the video. First thing, we got to talk about our 6th round pick, Wayne Odom, out of Colorado, who is going to be our starting fullback because we let Brian Leonard walk. Brian Leonard was always more of a running fullback. At Rutgers, he was actually pretty much one of the main sources of offense. They had the Leonard leap. They gave the ball to him all the time. They ran him just as much as they ran Ray Rice when he was there. So he was never really a pure fullback, and I wanted a pure fullback. Wayne Odom fits that role, and he will be a rookie, so he will be around for a while. And in the 7th round, we just drafted a guy who there wasn't anybody really left in the 7th round, so I just took this guy, Julian Dobbs, a big power back out of UConn, the Huskies. So he is our 7th round pick. He will actually be our 4th string running back behind Brown, Gray, and then Rogers, and then Julian Dobbs. And then in the off-season free agency part, I tried to go after Sebastian Vollmer, but we could not get him to be our starting right tackle because Luke Joeckel did not want to come back. Instead, we're going to have to deal with Andrew Whitworth, a veteran guy, on the right tackle spot. And like I said, Jonathan Cyprien, I pursued him hard, but he did not want to come back. So the only guy we ended up getting in the offseason free agency period was Cordarrelle Patterson, the wide receiver out of Tennessee Volunteers, who spent the last few seasons, the first few seasons of his career, with the Minnesota Vikings being Teddy Bridgewater's go-to guy. And he's coming off a career year, but for some reason, the Vikings did not want him back. He had 77 receptions with over 1,000 yards and 4 touchdowns in 2016. So I think it's pretty unusual they didn't want him back and they just let him walk. And I needed a slot guy because I let Mohamed Sanu walk. I didn't really want Allen Robinson to be my slot guy because he doesn't fit that slot guy role. And I didn't want Allen Robinson to be the number 2 guy. So I got Cordell Patterson to be our slot guy, and he fits that role. He's fast. He's not going to be relied on to be the number 1 receiver, but he's going to be there to make catches if we need him to be. And I think he's going to flourish in that role. And now that we've gone over the team and who we've signed, who we've drafted, and who is going to be starters, let's take a look at our depth chart. That the starting quarterback will be Lance Cummings, starting running back will be Bryce Brown, starting fullback Wayne Odom. The top 4 receivers are Avonte Brady, Keenan Allen, Cordarrelle Patterson, and Allen Robinson. The tight end will be Big Scott Chandler. Left tackle William Beatty, left guard Mackenzie Bernardo. The center will be Tim Lelito. Right guard is Brandon Linder. Right tackle is the veteran tackle Andrew Whitworth. Left end will be Chris Smith, who will be probably cutting down on sacks this year because I will not be using the left end this year. So left end Chris Smith, expect some drastically lower numbers because 39 sacks is a bit too high. And then our top 2 defensive tackles, nothing changing this year. Number 1, Senderick Marks. Number 2, Anthony Kendricks, our 5th round draft pick last year, who played big dividends. Let's see if our 5th round draft pick this year, Lance Cummings, can do something. Right end, we've got Ryan Davis. Left outside linebacker, Telvin Smith. Middle linebacker, Manti Te'o. Right outside linebacker, Courtney Upshaw. The top 4 corners will be Sean Smith, who will be back for this year. Stephen Gilmore, Vincent Stump, who was our 1st round pick last year, and Danny McCray. And then at the Demetrius McCray, correction. Free safety, Stevie Brown. Strong safety, Brandon Merriweather to take over for Cyprian, while Langford Miller will be his backup. And then the kicker is Emmanuel Gutierrez, who was an undrafted rookie last year out of UTSA, University of Texas, San Antonio. And then our punter, who made the Pro Bowl last year, will be the undrafted rookie last year, who is now in his 2nd year, at LSU, Ryan Fitzpatrick. And then our kick returner and punt returner will be Cordarrelle Patterson. Now, when I showed you Lance Cummings' attributes, you probably noticed that Lance Cummings isn't exactly the best overall player. He wasn't even the best overall quarterback on my roster. Bortles is still better. But the preseason improved confidence and game prep works wonders. As let's take a look at Lance Cummings' stats and attributes at the start of the regular season. He is a 77 overall. 89 throw power, 85 short accuracy, 85 medium accuracy, 81 deep accuracy, 90 throw on the run, 78 play action, 94 speed, 90 agility, 90 acceleration, 94 ball carrier vision, 87 juke, 80 spin. And that is a 5th round draft pick out of Northern Illinois, the 5'10", 214 Wonder Boy, Lance Cummings. And Lance Cummings will hopefully be a star quarterback in this league, hopefully make an impact right away. And Skip Bayless does not approve of that message. He does not think that Lance Cummings is worthy of anything. So Skip Bayless, we will find out and hopefully prove you wrong. And that'll wrap things up for the offseason recap. I've been your host, JerseyBorn, and I'm saying we'll see you in Week 1.